I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Brianna Jones.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Brie to like musical theater. And oh no, Andrew kept the window open and now the Christmas is getting it again!
God damn it, Andrew!
I'm sorry. I dropped the ball this time.
So much Christmas!
Yeah, it was like a snowstorm out there, and I left it open, and oh man, it's bad. It's bad this week. It is bad this week.
It's a lot. It's a lot of Christmas.
So much Christmas cheer all over
everywhere.
my face.
Yeah, I'm not happy about this.
In fact, this might be the most Christmas cheer we've ever put into an episode. So much that we can't fit it all into one episode. This is a two-parter we're doing here. We are covering every Rankin Bass film connected in the cinematic universe, except for the ones we don't want to talk about. And I am so excited about this.
Except the ones that we're going to save for next year, probably.
No, there's just
what
like,
he means.
Why would we talk about the cricket on the shelf or whatever? If it has, or Peter Cottontail, or the Easter Bunny is coming to town, why would we talk about those?
True. All right, let's just get right into it, because we got a lot to fucking talk about here.
Yes, in case you haven't picked up, this is our Rankin Bass episode. First film I guess we're talking about is the seminal classic, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Cue the music, Brie.
You know Dasher, and Dancer, and Prancer, and Vixen, Comet, and Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a film written by Romeo Muller, based on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Johnny Marks, with music and lyrics by Johnny Marks, and is one of the few Rankin Bass productions that actually brought on the original songwriter to write the songs for the special. It premiered December 6, 1964 on NBC, sponsored by General Electric. And I believe this is the only one of the Rankin Bass specials specifically sponsored by a corporation. The plot of which is, Sam the Snowman tells us the story of a young red-nosed reindeer who, after being ousted from the reindeer games because of his glowing nose, teams up with Hermie, an elf who wants to be a dentist, and Yukon Cornelius, the prospector. They run into the abominable snowman and find a whole island of misfit toys. Rudolph vows to see if he can get Santa to help the toys, and he goes back to the North Pole on Christmas Eve. But Santa's sleigh is fogged in, but when Santa looks over to Rudolph, he gets a very bright idea. What do you think about this one, Andrew? This is like the seminal classic, the first Rankin Bass special.
I think this is the best one.
Really? Out the gate, the best one.
I think, having watched all of these ones this week, I think this was the best one. It's not my favorite one, but I think it's the best one.
What's the difference?
I feel like this one is actually about something, and the story has meaning outside of just, it's Christmas. Nice.
Now, Brie, what's your history with this special, if you have any?
This specific episode or the entire special?
The entire Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer special.
I have like specific memories of like going to my uncle's house and watching this on Christmas Eve. It is one of my favorites. I will always come back to it. I will always watch it. Really, that's my history with it.
That's fair. 1964, like over 50 years, pushing, I think it'll be 60 years next year, or no, within the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty incredible, considering that this was just an up-and-coming animation studio, at the time just called Animagic, because based on the type of stop motion they were doing that was based on wood and felt as opposed to claymation. Rankin and Bass were mostly known for doing TV shows, specifically a Pinocchio TV show. Sadly, he was not a part of the Mafia, but it was just a normal Pinocchio show. And they were brought in when General Electric wanted a Christmas special to sponsor. But do either of you know the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer story?
You mean the one from the song?
It was not a song first. It was actually a story first, like a book.
I don't know. I thought it was Honestly, I thought it was just like a song that somebody made, and then they made this special after it.
I mean, that's a fair thing, because a lot of the Rankin Bass stuff is just based on the general idea of a song. But this one specifically was Montgomery Ward commissioned a book by Robert L. May called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It was just a children's book, and since we were in a paper ration, they only had a certain amount available. It was very, very popular, and it was released in 1939, very, very early on, many years before the special, many years before the song. The story itself is owned by the Rudolph Company LP, and from that, many adaptations were made, several of them before this special. Charles Fleischer, who you might know from Fleischer Animations, did the first Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer special that was 2D animated and was just an adaptation of the story. The song really didn't play into it very much.
Huh. That's interesting.
And that was 1948. But that special by the Fleischer brothers predated the song even. The song didn't even exist yet, and the special did. The song came out in 1949 because May, the original writer's brother-in-law, Johnny Marks, decided to adapt it into a song, and Gene Autry recorded it into a #1 Billboard pop selling hit.
And that's the song that we all know now.
Yes, that is the song we know now. Rankin Bass heard that song and decided, let's adapt that into a special. And it became the most famous one. So everyone in this special, the voices were all Canadian recording. None of this was done in America. The voices were all done in Canada, and the animation all done in Tokyo, Japan, by people that did not speak English. So they're trying to lip sync phonetically to a language that they don't speak.
Which, yeah, there's a lot of awkward animation, not just in this, but just throughout.
And they always went to Tadahito Moshinaga's Mom Productions in Tokyo, Japan, who did basically all the Rankin Bass stuff that was stop motion animated. And it created the animagic stop motion that they were known for. And at the time, they weren't even known as Rankin Bass. They were known as Animagic. So they decide to adapt all the pieces, and there's some interesting things in it. Like, Burl Ives was not originally part of this special, despite him being probably the most prominent figure in it nowadays as Sam the Snowman. The gentleman that played Yukon Cornelius was originally the voice of Sam the Snowman and recorded all the lines of dialogue. Then Burl Ives signed on, and they threw that all away and animated to him and made the snowman look like him so they could bank on that character actor's appearance. And they did that for every other special. Every special from here on out has at least one famous person that they're trying to bank on.
Yep, and they're always like the narrator of the story.
I mean, sometimes, but yeah, most of the time.
It's, this is like the blueprint for almost every single one that follows, I think.
I agree.
But I think this is the one that I feel like has the most, like, emotionally cohesive story.
Yeah?
You have a couple different plot threads that are all kind of the same thing. It's like a misfit trying to show that they are useful in some way. Rudolph, everyone thinks he's not a good reindeer because his nose glows. The elf, not a good elf because he wants to be a dentist. He doesn't want to do toys. Yukon Cornelius is just kind of a weird guy who has never found anything.
Wait. Which version did you watch? Because in some versions he does.
I think I saw the one where he does find something eventually.
Yes.
And then you have the Island of Misfit Toys, which is just kind of like, I mean, it's on the nose on that one. Like they're toys
intended.
that are misfit toys. So and then it all resolves by all of them becoming accepted by society. They're all seen as useful, which I personally don't like the message of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but that is what it is, and I think that it does say that.
I think there's a lot of things that this is a classic despite some of the negative followings of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's very funny how Santa, who is this wholesome person in everything, he's supposed to be like, I mean, it's Santa Claus, right?
Yes.
Santa Claus is like perfect. And he shows up, and the first time he sees Rudolph, he's just like, oh my God, get rid of that hideous ass nose or you're never working for me.
I mean, he does, but after singing, the first time he sings in front of him is just like, hey, jingle, jingle, goodbye.
Well, yeah, but it's in the context of like, you got to get that nose under control or you're never going to be jingle, jingle, jingle.
There's a lot of weird shit like that. There's a lot of just casual sexism in this. Like,
oh, yeah.
No, honey, this is man's work. And, well,
the
Yukon's dead.
girl reindeer only exists to like support Rudolph. Like, that's her entire purpose in
Her
the
name's
story.
Clarice, put respect on that name.
I don't even remember that. They don't...
And the worst one is when Yukon, we think he's dead because he fell off the cliff, and the narrator's like, well, they thought it's best, it's getting cold to get the women home, so they do that. And that's the transition. So they get back. There's a lot of weird casual sexism and feelings that women are lesser than. And I think a lot of Rankin Bass productions try to remedy that in future adaptations. It's only in this one.
Yeah. I don't have a ton more to say on this, honestly. It's Rudolph.
I do have some wild facts. So, I want to talk about the different variations of this. In the original production, well, on the Island of Misfit Toys, we have a rag doll named Dolly. What is her misfit? She's just a doll. What do you think makes her a misfit, Andrew?
Honestly, I can't figure it out. I'm guessing just people don't like rag dolls.
People wonder for years. She just looks like a normal doll. Brie, do you have any guesses since you are her on our image that we have for this one?
I don't.
People wondered for years, and then finally Arthur Rankin confirmed in 2007 that the Dolly's problem is psychological. She's depressed because her owner discarded her.
Oh, well, I'm depressed, so...
I think that was just a joke that he said, sincerely. People have taken that and written that forever, but I don't believe it.
Probably just couldn't figure out what actually was. He probably was just like, yeah, just put a doll in there, like, whatever.
Probably wasn't thinking too hard about it.
Our next wild fact is, in the original version of this that aired in 1964, Rudolph, Hermie, and Yukon never return to the Island of Misfit Toys at the end. They just fly off into the sun and go deliver the toys. So many children wrote in saying, like, Rudolph broke his promise and didn't help those poor toys, that a few years later, funded by GE, knowing that they had a classic on their hands that would play forever, funded reshoots where they pick up the toys. But there is caveats. So in the version that we get that now airs on NBC every year, they do get the toys in an added scene and they deliver them during the credits. They had a different credits where all the credits were put on their toy boxes and they throw it out. In the new credits, they actually misspell the actress's voice that plays Rudolph, and it's just been there for the last 6 years. However, since GE was paying for the reshoots, they made them change a song. They requested they reshoot We're a Couple of Misfits because they thought that was too downbeat and replaced it with a song called Fame and Fortune. So for the many, many years, it was just Fame and Fortune there in the We're a Couple of Misfits spot. Presently, in NBC airings, they have the Fame and Fortune animation, but they just play We're a Couple of Misfits over it and hope that it syncs, and it doesn't. It looks terrible.
What? Why not just get the old animation, or is that gone? Is that
they just don't, and it exists for home media releases. They just don't do it. And I am easily confused every time. Basically, it depends on where you're watching it, because if it's on Freeform, they will use the We're a Couple of Misfits song with the original animation. But if you're watching on NBC when it airs, they will use the Fame and Fortune animation with the We're a Couple of Misfits song over top of it. And sometimes they'll just accidentally play the Fame and Fortune song with the animation. I don't understand why that's the case.
It's a choice. It's certainly a choice.
I just find that interesting that because the fucking corporate sponsors decided what they get to do, that they had to change the entire thing. One of the other things I want to bring up was that since this is a corporate sponsored, they had bumpers supporting General Electric in between that they don't air anymore, but that's lost Rankin Bass animation that nobody uses. We only have like really rough black and white versions, and I wish we could attach those. Do you know what Yukon Cornelius is mining for, Andrew?
He says he has he found a peppermint mine,
and
didn't he? In the version I watched,
that is always cut from broadcast, only available on home media.
I guess it's not really important. Yukon is such a unimportant character, but I really like him. He really is great.
So, since they didn't really know how big of an effect this would have, they kind of just threw away all the figurines afterwards. And we all thought...
But they wish they didn't do that.
They were lost until 2006. The original Rudolph and Santa figures were featured in an episode of Antiques Roadshow, where they were valued at $8,000 to $10,000.
It's probably Rudolph and Santa.
No, it was a girl
that
worked for Rankin Bass that brought him in. She just took him.
Okay.
So Rudolph, the character, is still copyrighted, but the special has iffy copyright issues because they misspelled the copyright Roman numerals in the special. So that's why you can see a lot of these pieces like Rudolph and all those for other commercials, like cell phone commercials, because the copyright issues with this special are a little iffy.
What were they doing in the 60s? Throwing away figures?
Wait, so...
misspelling copyrights?
If you accidentally spell a copyright incorrectly, it's actually not a real copyright.
The debate. It's been an ongoing debate.
That is absurd, and there's no way that's true. Wouldn't they just go by the year it was released and not by whatever it says in the... whatever.
And in the issue of they filmed the Misfit Toy reshoots about a couple of years later, they forgot some of the elements in it. Like the Misfit Train doesn't have his signature square wheels that we saw earlier. As well, the elf gives everyone else an umbrella to float down, but the bird that doesn't fly, he just tosses out because he doesn't know that the bird can't. But he doesn't know the bird can't fly, so it falls to its death.
It's a toy; it can't die. That's my
on that
counter-argument.
case, as far as the Rankin Bass cinematic universe goes, and we do know later on that these are all in continuity with one another, these are the only toys that talk.
They were made wrong. All right, we have to move on to our
Bree.
reviews because we
Bree,
have
I told you to hit the button whenever you were
button.
bored.
What button?
The previous button.
There's a note in the private
I think she hit the button about 9 minutes ago.
Did.
I did hit the button about 9 minutes ago. She doesn't listen to me.
I was chatting, and I did warn that I was going to go a little longer on Rudolph.
Yes. Okay.
There's a lot more to say on Rudolph.
Moving on to Bree views.
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
Are you two ready?
I am ready.
Alrighty. Jess, since you're a misfit and kept talking, Andrew, you're going first.
Okay.
Okay. Some of these are rated R. So
Good.
if children are watching, close their ears. Okay.
No children are.
You know what?
listening.
Listen.
Oh, no children are listening. Good.
Open your
Okay.
ears because we're going in.
All right. I want Yukon to lick my clit like that like that pickaxe.
I could see that. I understand why you would want that. I'm gonna go with 5 stars for that.
That's a 1 star. But okay.
Damn.
I wanted to lick my clit with like that pickaxe too.
Okay. Nothing but love for the snowman guy.
Feels like a 5 star. There's nothing but love.
That is a 1 star.
Fuck!
Okay, Andrew.
Okay.
Can't stop thinking about that tweet that's like, every leftist girl's boyfriend looks like Yukon Cornelius.
5 stars.
That's a 5 star. Andrew.
I do agree that every leftist boyfriend looks like Yukon Cornelius.
Yeah.
Do I look like Yukon Cornelius?
Yeah, according to our cover art, you do.
I don't think I actually look very much like him. I don't know.
All right. Jess,
You're much
are you
more
ready?
handsome. Yeah.
Okay, so someone has probably already pointed this out, but one of the Misfit toys is a bird that doesn't fly but swims instead. And then at the end credits, you see an elf tossing out the toys, supposedly to houses, and giving them each umbrellas. But When he sees the bird, he just tosses it out of the sleigh, thinking it can fly. That elf just tossed the swimming bird to its death.
That sounds like a 1.
That's a 5.
I think that we're supposed to laugh at the misfortune of the swimming bird.
Maybe.
I'd laugh at no misfortunes of birds. Okay.
Please put that on a shirt. I laugh at no misfortunes of birds.
Okay, we will. All right, Andrew.
Yes.
Rudolph grew up to be thick with a bunch of like tongue sticking out emojis, brain exploding emojis, crying
5
emojis.
stars.
That is a 5-star.
Easiest 5-star of my life.
All right, Jess.
Is this the last one?
This is the last one. What does anything in this movie have to do with Rudolph?
Wait a second. Did you watch it?
I don't know. He showed up in a couple scenes. I'm going to give that a 1 star.
That is a 1-star. Andrew, you take this round.
All right. Keep
1
those
point
points
for
counting.
me. 1 point for me.
All right. Now that we've done that, let's move on to their next film. I guess film or TV special. The Little Drummer Boy. Cue the music, Bree.
Yo, fuck the Little Drummer Boy. Oh my god. I hate this special.
Why do you hate this one so much? And just for context, it premiered December 15th, 1968, 4 years after Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
This one is just fucking... It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's just a bunch of crap. And of course they have to make a biblical special. Oh, get out of here with this crap. I hate the Little Drummer Boy. This is my least favorite one, I think, by far. Other than Little Drummer Boy 2.
Which we'll wait for next episode for that one, kids. Please describe the plot of the Little Drummer Boy.
The Little Drummer Boy is a little boy who he gets a drum, and then he goes to meet Jesus, and a bunch of wise men or some shit sing songs, and nothing makes any fucking sense.
How are you just ignoring that his parents were burnt alive in front of him, and that he hates all human race and only likes animals?
Yes, I know, but who cares? Like, fuck this special.
I will say, like, when this would come on ABC Family or Freeform, what it's called now, when I was a kid, I always thought, oh, that's the serious one. Oh, that's the really big one.
You thought this was the serious one?
Yeah, because I'm like a kid, and I'm like, oh, there's no Santa Claus? That's the one about Jeebus?
Yeah, I was like, I get enough of this in Sunday school. Like, skip. I'm going to go play with my Bratz
I mean,
dolls.
you made the right decision, even if it was for the wrong reason.
It just looked like a fucking downer. It felt like a really sad one.
It sucks. I hate this one.
It's boring and it sucks.
Whatever. My negative opinion here, but fuck the Little Drummer Boy. Get it out of here. Get it out of here.
I do want to talk slightly about it a little longer, only because we're gonna have to come back to it a little later.
Okay.
What was there? Was there any songs that you liked in it? Like, do you like the original Little Drummer Boy song?
Pum-pum-pum-pum. It's
because I kind of like that song.
I think it's kind of boring, but there's good versions of it. I think it's one of those ones where you have to find a good cover of it.
Have you heard the Grace Jones one sung in the Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas special?
I have not. Is that a good one?
Yes. I am going to derail this really quick to play a little bit of that if I can find it.
They told me
I agree.
That is the best version. That's the best version.
Sincerely.
Agreed.
It's wild. Is there anything that you kind of liked about this? I liked how hard it went, that it murdered the Little Drummer Boy's family, and that they made the bold choice of not really having an ending in the movie, just kind of stopping.
Yeah, I mean, that's great and all, but like, it's just so boring. And the songs are like inane. Like, I don't know.
I do want to say that this is actually one of the rare Rankin Bass things where they don't have the original 35mm prints. So no matter what, it's going to look like shit because they're pulling from the 16mm like recreations. So while the audio sounds fine, it looks like garbage.
Just all the better, honestly. It deserves that.
Where Rudolph, thankfully, we have a lot of replications of that, and that will live forever. This, no matter what, we are going to see 60mm garbage-looking versions of this film.
I can live with that. If there's any movie in the Rankin Bass cinematic universe that deserves to be forgotten, it is Little Drummer Boy. Little Drummer Boy is like the Hulk of Rankin Bass.
But it is the only one outside of Rudolph and Frosty to get a sequel.
Which is tragic, honestly.
But who cares what we think? Let's compare our opinions to those of the crazy folks on Letterboxd.com. It's time for Reviews. All right, what we got, Bree?
Alrighty. Jess, you'll go first. Okay. This shit is crazy. How did they forget to mention any of this in the Bible?
It is wild that there's no mention of a drummer at Christ's birth, and they just made this its own song. I'm giving that a 1 star.
That is a 5-star.
Nobody's ever read the Bible before. They don't know. Like, come on.
All right, Andrew. This one says a little Christmas murder.
5 stars.
That's a 1 star.
Fuck.
Okay, Jess, ready?
Ready.
Why would a baby want to hear drums?
Good question. That's a 1 star.
That's a 5 star.
Fuck!
Okay. Andrew?
Yep.
The end of this is like some sort of Holy Bible reference tie, and that's supposed to make Christmas go, oh, I'm sorry, not Christmas. That is supposed to make Christians go, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's like when this is for Christians, like when fucking what's his name shows up at the end of the Iron Man movie to
or
recruit
when Captain
everybody.
American grabs the hammer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's that guy?
Wait a second, he's gonna go see Jesus? 5 stars.
That was a 1 star.
Fuck.
All right, Jess, last one. Okay. This is in quotes. We just had a baby, and there's this little kid outside banging on the drums.
Sounds like a 1 star.
That's a 5 star. You guys...
Shit!
You guys
No.
stink it up in here because you didn't do it. You didn't get 1 point.
That's
Yo,
the time.
fuck Little Drummer Boy. This shit sucks.
Right.
You know what? Let's move on to something a little better. Let's move on to Frosty the Snowman. Cue the music, Brie.
Happy birthday!
Frosty the Snowman was a jolly happy soul, with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. Frosty the Snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children know how he came to life one day.
It premiered the year after on December 7th, 1969. Nice, dude. It's about a living snowman and a little girl struggle to elude a greedy magician who is after the snowman's magic hat. What is your history with this, guys?
Did Frosty melt in this one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember being very sad about that.
He dies. You know, every single time that they take the hat off, he actually dies.
And he's reborn. That's why he says happy birthday every time.
Yeah,
He
it's
has to start from
it's a
scratch.
different Frosty. Like, it's not the same Frosty.
Oh, is it Prestige Rules?
Yeah, it's not the same Frosty every time.
Oh, God, that's so fucked up. I didn't even... Oh, that's so crazy. I watched this one a lot when I was a kid. I thought there was more plot to it, but there really isn't.
No, there's like nothing to this.
And you know what? There's a charm to there being nothing to it.
You know what I love is that every single person has the same face. It's true. Whoa.
You're not. Oh God! Frosty got mad at that comment. Came
Yikes.
to your house.
Yeah, but no, like every single person has the same exact face. It's crazy.
Outside of Frosty and the Magician, yes, I will agree with you.
Yeah, they gave them unique faces. The Magician. So I love bad magicians. I should have mentioned this in the episode we did on bed knobs and broomsticks. But I love how movies will portray bad magicians in a sense of like they're trying to do the trick and they're like surprised that it doesn't work. Like, how do you think magicians do magic tricks? A bad magician would just be very obvious with sleight of hand. They wouldn't literally like tap their hat and be surprised that a rabbit doesn't come out. Like,
okay, so fun fucking fact. This isn't really my story to tell, but it is Christmas, and I might as well share it. My brother once tried to do a magic show for a talent show contest.
Oh no!
At our elementary school, and he fucked up every trick and literally became like the exact type of magician you're trying to look for. Like he would be like, "All right, and look at this string, and it's magically longer again, and it's shorter again." Like every single one.
How do you? Maybe it was a gag.
I don't. No, it wasn't because
So did he?
He was upset about it.
Did he actually believe that he was magic and like he was supposed to like?
I don't
literally
know.
be able to like conjure rabbits from hats and stuff.
I don't know, but he fucked it up so badly, and it is a core memory in my head that he fucked up basic card tricks in front of the entire school.
Guys, they keep the rabbit in their coat. It's in their coat pocket. Yeah, it's in their coat pocket, and they take it out and put it in the hat when you're not looking.
I thought that they just crushed the bird, and then they have a different bird fly out.
They don't summon a rabbit, okay? I'm just saying. I love the magician in this. He's funny as hell.
He repeats words, and that's his thing.
That's his whole thing. That's all he's got. And he's so easily defeated as well.
Santa shows up and just says, "You've been bad, man."
And he's like, "But I'm an evil magician." And he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna give you any more presents." And he's like, "Oh shit, I'm out of here."
I love how he calls himself an evil magician.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nothing happens in Frosty the Snowman. This is the most nothing.
I disagree. A fucking magician murders Frosty.
Yeah, that is true. But, like, in the end, it's inconsequential, though, because Santa just shows up and undoes it, so...
Well, does he undo it, or does he make a new Frosty?
That's now you're thinking metaphysically. I like that. I like that.
I do want to go into our wild facts, Rar. So, Frosty was played by comedian Jackie Vernon, who is a very raunchy comedian. So playing like this kind of like lovable oaf character that's like very innocent is very different. As well, we're talking about different versions. So June Foray performed the voice of the school teacher and Karen, who goes with Frosty the North Pole. However, and that was the original version. However, in the 70s, they dubbed Karen over with just random kids, like a random girl, and all the other kids are random kids. And that's just the way it's always been. No one knows who those voice actors are that replaced it. And June Foray was very upset that her voice was removed because she loved being a part of the special so much. And her voice can still be heard in the soundtrack that was released for Frosty the Snowman. But she is not in the special anymore on subsequent releases or home media. And also the film's narrator, who is our big star. Every one of these has a big star, except for maybe the little drummer boy. This one, it was Jimmy Durante, who died shortly after this film was released. And I think he's probably my favorite narrator out of the bunch. Yeah. I love the design of him, the 2D design of him, and his first opening lines is like, "It all started with snow. That's how this works, right?" But he was known for just being an all-around nice guy. He was like invited to an Eagles International Convention in 1961 and refused pay and just said, "Give it to kids, give it to a children's charity or something." He, as far as most people are concerned, is a very nice guy.
Well, that's
now. Good. Was there any highlights? Like, what do you think of the Frosty the Snowman song, by the way? I feel like that's worth asking.
Frosty the Snowman is, it's a holiday classic, but it is a bit bland. But, you know, it's listenable. It's okay.
I mean, the song ends with him dying and saying, "I'll be back one day, maybe."
Yeah, but I mean that's fine. I think that's Frosty is not a snowman. You know, sometimes a snowman is more than a snowman. Frosty is a representation of the holiday spirit and what it means to be part of Christmas.
I do want to say this is the first appearance of Santa Claus voiced by Paul Frees as well, and he will reappear later in this episode as well. I do want to talk about the 2D animation, because it's the first time we're talking about that. I actually like the way the 2D animation looks. It's a little repetitive, a little rough, but it's more pleasing to the eye than the stop motion.
It's less iconic though, so there's that. But I agree, it actually looks better. But when you watch a Rankin Bass special, you kind of want that janky ass garbage, you know?
Who cares what we think? It's time to compare our opinions to those of the crazy fucks at letterboxd.com. It's time for Brie Reviews. Brie, what do we got?
All right.
I gotta win.
Who went first last time?
I did.
Okay, Andrew, you're up. Spoiler, Santa and Frosty both felt Karen would be okay getting down from the roof by herself.
They do just kind of drop her on the roof.
5 stars.
That's a 1 star.
Fuck.
Okay, Jess. Wish Karen died instead of Frosty. ...
Oh, that sounds like someone that loves Frosty, so I'm going to give it a 5.
That's a 5 star.
And in my headcanon, she dies of pneumonia 3 weeks later.
You open the door to the greenhouse and it's just a puddle of blood with her hat in it.
It is weird. She is just bare-legged. Like, she has, like, her little skirt on and just open legs and just, like, I'm going to go outside in the snow.
You're going to the North Pole.
All right. Question. If you believe enough that a snowman is your friend, are you allowed to disobey traffic laws? This movie says yes.
5 stars.
That's a 1 star.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Jess, this one says oatmeal, but it's all capital letters, spaced apart, and there's a question mark at the end. So more like oatmeal. Oatmeal?
Well, I know the little kids, like, suggest that they named Frosty Oatmeal, and everyone's like, Oatmeal?
Okay.
Stupid kid. So I'm going to assume that's a 5 star.
That is a 5 star. Very nice. Oatmeal? What a horrible
And they all make
name.
fun of it and bully that kid.
Yeah, wow.
It deserved. I mean, that was a terrible name suggestion. It was awful.
I mean, it's a good name for a dog. Like, Oatmeal's like a perfect name for a dog.
Yeah, you say so.
My school watched this for Christmas. Well, we had to do online school, and everyone in the Google Meet chat was talking about how the children are actual criminals.
I mean, barely. Like, whatever. You know,
Jaywalking.
You should be allowed to break laws. That's my opinion.
I think laws are stupid.
See, I still want to say 5 stars, but I've been wrong constantly. 5 stars?
5 stars? All right,
Yeah.
that's 1 point. All right, Jess, last one.
All right.
Frosty kidnaps a child, then fucking dies.
Good.
I'm going to go 5 stars there.
That was a 1 star.
Fuck!
Just looking at the points here, it looks like you guys are currently tied.
Yeah! Shh!
All right, let's move on.
All right. We're going to move a little into the future to our next special, and that is Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Cue the music, Breeze.
You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list and checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
This one was released December 13th, 1970 on ABC, departing from the usual specials on NBC. And it is about a mailman revealing the origins of Santa Claus.
Oh, good lord. This one.
This is also the first one with original songs. I also want to point that out.
This one.
Yes.
What the fuck?
What do you mean? This one's great. I love this one.
So I want to say one thing about this, okay?
Okay.
Santa Claus doesn't have, like, a real origin story, you know? But I think if you asked most people the origin story of Santa Claus, they wouldn't say any of the shit that happens in this fucking movie.
What do you mean?
Dude, what the fuck? He's a baby who wants to move in with Burgermeister Meisterburger, and my Burgermeister Meisterburger is like, no, get the hell out of here with that baby. And then the baby gets blown across the mountain.
Wait, let's pause right there.
Blown
he wants to move in. What the fuck does that mean? A baby? He's not like with him like offering weed to stay for the week. He's an infant dropped on his doorstep.
Look, the Burgermeister police killed his parents in the Great Toy Purge of whenever the fuck. So the baby had to go somewhere, and the Burgermeister was like, no. The wind blows him across a fucking mountain with a warlock in it. What? What does this have to do with fucking Santa Claus? And then he lives with the elves, which I want to point out, the elves have a very established look in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They're just wearing Santa suits in this. The elves just wear the Santa suit.
Those aren't elves. Those are Kringles.
They call them
part of a
elves.
family.
They call them elves.
I think there's a lot of development that happens between then and there.
Okay, but he befriends the warlock, and then the warlock loses the magic powers for no reason, and then
Because he became nice.
and then he praised them back. It's ridiculous. And where does the warlock go after this story? Is he dead in Rudolph? I thought the jingle bells were what made the reindeer fly. Now it's magic corn. Make up your fucking mind, Rankin Bass.
When did you say jingle bells?
In Rudolph.
They don't say that in Rudolph.
I thought you said you put the jingle bells on them, and now that's how they fly.
No, they just also have jingle bells, and they fly because the reindeers are made to fly because he, like, the fucking eugenics, like, he breeds them that way.
All I'm saying is that this is not the origin story of Santa Claus. This is a bunch of nonsense, but it is pretty funny to watch.
My canon.
My canon is the murder curse from the Santa Claus.
The Tim Allen curse.
Fucking Burgermeister Meisterburger. What the fuck is that character? This one is the second best one though. No, the third best one. Because I like You Without the Santa Claus better.
This is actually probably my favorite. I'd probably put this above Rudolph.
I like the Put One Foot in Front of the Other song a lot.
I think all the songs are pretty good, sincerely.
Yeah, I think the Burgermeister reprise of the first Toy Makers or whatever the heck that song is called.
It's a difficult responsibility.
I think his is a lot worse than theirs, which is kind of a shame.
It's also the point.
I suppose it's the point, but it's the villain song. It's supposed to be good. I do like that the Burgermeister plays with yo-yos, though.
You do love your yo-yos.
That's about all I have to say.
I think the charm of Mickey Rooney as Kris Kringle, aka Santa Claus, really holds this special together in a way where I'm glad he comes back and plays Santa, basically through the rest of the Rankin Bass cinematic universe.
Oh, you know what? One more thing to say, actually. I think that this is culturally how we ended up with Marvel, this movie.
Explain.
Every single aspect of Santa Claus, they had to directly explain to the audience how they got it. And I feel like...
But they address that it's children asking these specific questions.
I guess, but why? Do we need to have the scene where he's like, I grew a beard because everyone else grew a beard? It's like...
No, he grew a beard so he wouldn't be recognized by the police.
You live at the North fucking Pole. Of course you're going to have a beard. What, do you want to freeze to death? What the fuck? They have to explain everything. They explain how he gets his suit. They explain where he got the elves. They explain why the reindeer can fly. Every single thing has to be explained. And it's just, come on. You can tell me all of Santa Claus, every single aspect of Santa Claus happened within 3 days. Whatever.
I mean, it takes place over 30 years. Let's be clear.
Not the part where he becomes Santa, though. That's just the baby to the grown-up part.
And then you got grown adult deciding I can only do this once a year. Old man.
Yeah. What happens when he dies?
I feel like they don't want to address that, so they just don't.
Like, he's so old at the end of this. Like, he's definitely, like, deathbed's around the corner.
I think, and this is my headcanon, because I had the same question as you about the Winter Warlock. I think the Winter Warlock gave his eternal life powers to him and Jessica so that they could live forever and make toys and fuck forever.
And then he just died?
Yeah, he just died.
God damn. Where'd the penguin go?
I mean, the penguin's dead. Long dead, Topper.
What did the penguin have to do with fucking anything?
He was a cute sidekick, Andrew. Why do you have to be so cynical?
All I'm saying is that this movie is fucking ridiculous. It's nonsensical, but it's kind of fun to watch. It's fine.
Young Mrs. Claus, when she's a little uptight librarian lady, she can get it. She's real hot. She's cute. Are we ready for some wild facts?
Yeah.
So, in different variations, this special has been edited to shit on TV because it's a little too long. And we have a lot more ads nowadays than we had when this originally became a special. So they would cut whole songs out, like My World is Beginning Today and What Better Way to Tell You, and just trimming songs in half. As well, they trimmed stuff because they thought it would be scary to kids, like the Winter Warlock being scary in general. They just cut that out. As well as the Burgermeister burning toys in front of children. They'd cut that out because they thought it would be too scary for children. However, in 2012, when Universal Pictures and DreamWorks bought most of the Rankin Bass properties, they just said, fuck it, air it as originally intended, and put more commercials in. Did you know a video game based on the film was released in November of 2011 for both the Nintendo DS and Wii? It looks horrendous. Sincerely, this game looks unplayable.
I hope they move around at like 20 frames.
Andrew, look at clips of it right now and just look at it. Like, it is a side-scroller Mario parody for the Wii.
Mario parody? Okay.
Like, it's like the Mario structure.
Let's see. We got Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Video game. Oh, boy. Oh, no. I skipped to a section and it looked like he was humping a tree. Oh, my God. He's not supposed to move like this. They should have made him move, like, weird on purpose.
You mean moving on twos instead of every frame a second?
Yeah, that and, like, when he walks, he should just... His toes and heels are the only thing that touch the ground.
Also... Fred Astaire returned as the character S.D. Kluger in the spin-off parody sequel, The Easter Bunny is Coming to Town, made in 1977. I did watch that. It is not good enough to cover on our collection here, but it is interesting and bad.
Good lord, this video game looks so bad.
I told you.
It's so
Why would they make a video game out of this one and not Rudolph or something?
Oh my god.
Sincerely, it's baffling that they chose this one to make a video game out of.
The full gameplay of this game is only an hour and a half. The entire game is an hour and a half.
In the shooting script, the Penguin's name was Topper, and his name in the original broadcast. In later broadcast versions, the Penguin's name was changed to Waddles for unknown reasons. However, current broadcasts now put it back to Topper.
Why do they keep changing shit on these fucking specials?
I don't know. It confuses me. And the final wild fact. During the song Put One Foot in Front of the Other, when the Winter Warlock begins to take his steps, the song switches to a 7/4 time signature. This creates an aksak, or limping effect, which reflects how the Warlock is struggling to move forward.
That's my favorite song of the whole thing, and I think it is well written.
All right, what's your best and worst song of this special? Because this is one that actually has songs written for it, unlike the previous ones.
Best song, One Foot in Front of the Other, I already said. Worst song, God, what is the song that the girl sings?
My World Begins Today.
Yeah, that one. That one's fucking trash. Throw that away.
I can't disagree with One Foot in Front of the Other. I think that's the best song. I'd actually put the worst song as Be Prepared to Pay. It makes me uncomfortable. He's like, if you sit on my lap today, you gotta kiss me to get a toy.
Yes, but the uncomfortableness is part of the experience. It's what I like about it. The whole fucking special makes me feel uncomfortable. Everything is animated weird. Everything is fucking weird. It's bad.
There's a transactional nature between Santa and the kids where he has to get kissed by them to
If
get a toy.
you sit on my lap today. You
Don't like it.
You change one word in that, and it's a whole different meaning.
Chris Hansen walks in. If you sit over there today, we'll have to chat about what's going on here. But who cares about our opinions? Let's compare our opinions to those of the crazy folks on Letterboxd.com. It's previews! Round 3?
4.
5? I have no idea.
It's 4.
Okay,
It's
4. Okay, Jess, you're up first.
I am.
Why did Santa give one kid 2 pistols as a Christmas gift?
For Columbine, of course. That sounds like a 1-star.
That's a 5-star.
Shit!
Who doesn't want 2 pistols, Jess? Come on.
You're right.
All right, Andrew. Freaking hottest claymation man to ever exist. Sweating, tongue sticking out emoji.
5 stars.
That's a 5-star. All right, Jess. There is porn of Miss Jessica and Chris. I've seen it, and then they linked to it.
Why don't you show us the link real quick? So
I ain't clicking on that.
How about I show it then?
Oh, no.
Please
Why does
describe
it
what you're
turn all
seeing.
flat like that?
Is that his actual dick, or is that a rope?
Why did someone make this?
Like, I can't tell if that's like a hose, and this is supposed to be glue, or if those are
He's got balls,
his dick and
though.
balls.
That's
For
his dick.
context, this is like actual like puppets that they made in stop motion to jizz them all over her.
He's really happy about it too.
All right, Jess.
I think
5 or
that's a
1
5-star.
star. That's a 1-star.
What?
All of that for a 1 star.
Okay, Andrew.
Yep.
Bro, stop reading Santa's mail. That's illegal.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the mailman does commit mail fraud. I still want to say 5 stars though.
That's a 5-star.
All right.
All right, Jess.
Ready.
Fucking cringe ass criminal ginger Santa.
That sounds like a 1.
That's a 1-star. And the last one, Andrew. This is what was on when my dad told me grandma died.
What now? Can you say that one again?
This is what was on when my dad told me grandma died.
Hey, Dad, maybe wait till the special's over.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna ruin it. That's gotta be a 1 star. There's no way you like the special after that.
That's a 5-star.
What the fuck?
The idea
Yeah.
that paints that as around Christmas. So not only did it just ruin the special, it ruined Christmas.
No, it didn't though, because the special's still 5 stars.
It's not the special's fault.
The special, they're just like, I love it because every time I watch this, I'm reminded of my grandma dying. I really love this special.
Hot damn.
I hated my grandma.
I'm glad that bitch is dead. I look at her ashes sometime and just say, I won. On that note, how about we go into a mid-show and then finish this all up? Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Patreon's this wonderful place where you can watch us perform these shows live. You can join us for Patreon meetups. We have an entire Patreon podcast, and me and Andrew are doing some commentaries. At this point, we probably have a Star Wars Holiday Special commentary up there right now, so check that out. But Andrew, who's currently supporting us on Patreon?
Our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Danielle Renix, Justice Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Mina Maniri, Brent Black, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Mary Lou Choquette, John Vanals, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Kyle Summers, Janae C., Scoot the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Allison Stuller, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, Thespian, Ren Cullen, Rafael Martinez Solaz, Jessica T., Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Katie McDonough, Chris Marcotte, Mimu, Kiji Marie Anastasio, Leela, RJ Noriga, Charlie B, Bjorn Hermans, Erica S, Toriana Frazier, Sammy the Most Lopez, Leanna Morton, Kaylee Blazier, Birdman 69, Cinemageddon Reviews, Villainous Miss, Sophina Ali, The Omega Geek, Paige Pearson, Maddie Wargle, Eliza Erdman, Anna Laskatova, Cheska Veray, Sarah Den Blaker, Evan Ball, Zachary Torres, Spencer Hellier, Gathering Party Before Venturing Forth, and Rora Morasso.
These people give us a little extra financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you would like to join them in supporting us and get all that fun shit I described earlier, come join us over at Patreon. All right, we got a lot more Rankin Bass stuff to talk about, so let's get back to the show! Cue the music, Bree.
When Santa Claus took a holiday on the night before Christmas morn. It was a year without a Santa Claus, a Christmas Eve so sad. It was a year without a Santa Claus, the worst we've ever had.
The Year Without a Santa Claus was released on December 10, 1974, and is about when a weary and discouraged Santa Claus considers skipping his Christmas Eve run one year. Mrs. Claus and his elves set out to change his mind. What do you think of this one, Andrew?
So this is my actual favorite one.
All right.
I don't think it's the best one, but it's the one I like the most. I just think that the Snow Miser and the Heat Miser are cool and good. And I love that Santa Claus just wants to take a dang break. That's about all I've got to say about it, though, because honestly, it's kind of silly. It's a very silly thing.
You're right. I completely agree with you on all these points. I like this one a lot. This is probably my second favorite.
I don't understand how a reindeer ends up in a dog shelter. But whatever. It's fine. I like when the snow is gonna come to Dixie.
Yes,
that's good.
I love that song number. Before we recorded this, we were looking at a TikTok of a group of kids that reenacted it right down to the janky animation, and it's incredible.
The janky animation is part of the charm. Like it really is awful. Like, don't get me wrong, the animation is horrendous, but it's like you can't even imagine these with good animation. I don't think they would work if they had good animation.
I completely agree.
I don't know what it is.
I feel like the charm is gone. And funny you should mention that, because this is one of the rare Rankin Bass specials that has been remade in live action.
Wait, really?
Yes, in 2006, NBC remade The Year Without a Santa Claus, and I'm going to show you a little clip from that right now because it's worth noting. It stars John Goodman as Santa Claus, Ethan Suplee as, I think, Jingle or Jangle, Eddie Griffin as the other Jingle or Jangle, and it's not good. But what is worth showing off is the almost shot-for-shot, line-for-line recreation of the Heat Miser and Snow Miser, played by Harvey Fierstein and Michael McKean, who you might know as Better Call Saul's brother.
Oh.
I'm Mr. Green Christmas. I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Heat Blister. I'm Mr. 101. They call me Heat Miser. Whatever I touch starts to melt in my clothes. I'm too much.
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. I'm Mr. Icicle. I'm Mr. Tenderloin.
You can't remake this. This is like
They keep trying, though.
This is like a lightning in a bottle of everything about it is awful, and yet somehow when you put it all together, it's great. And you can't redo that.
I agree, but there are some elements that I honestly find this one a little more boring than the other ones.
Really? I don't know.
It was always such a downer for me because Santa is just a bummer in this one.
I really like the part where the drawing starts to cry, though. Like, Blue Christmas.
Yes.
It's terrible. It's a vibe. It's like a feeling, you know? This is Christmas, this special.
I completely understand every feeling you're describing. Now, I just feel it's too much of a downer, and I love Heat Miser and Snow Miser when they're on screen. They're not.
I thought
in it
you
enough.
liked the downers though. Like, isn't that your thing?
It's not always my thing.
Oh, good jeez.
Not for Christmas specials.
Oh, Christmas specials again. They have to be. You have to be uppers on Christmas. You know, some of us like to drink ourselves to sleep on Christmas Day. Okay, so.
Do you really think Jingle and Jangle are the best characters in the world that you're so happy you get to spend the entire special with?
Jingle and Jangle are funny little dudes, okay? And they are our guide into the world of Year Without a Santa Claus, okay? They're not characters. They are us.
Which one are we? Jingle or Jangle?
I'm Jangle, you're Jingle.
Okay. And Bree, is she the reindeer?
Bree has to spend most
pound?
of it in the pound, yes.
Gotta go to Pound Town. I'm sorry, Bree. Oh, that's bad.
Don't say that. What the fuck, dude?
I'm so sorry. I forgot there was another connotation with Pound Town. I apologize. Let's go to Wild Facts to ignore that I just said that. Wild Facts, rawr. Mickey Rooney reprises his role as Santa Claus from Santa Claus is Coming to Town in this special.
This is the
thus
sequel.
This is the first sequel and the first actual connection. While Santa Claus is Coming to Town does reference Rudolph very briefly, it's obviously just a joke more than it is like a proper we're all connected thing.
Yeah, this is the first time where the RBCU is really coming into play.
Yes, and on top of that, he also has hanging in his bedroom the same painting that is put up at the end of Santa Claus is Coming to Town of him flying into the moonlight, which is also the final shot of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the original broadcast. Mm-hmm. And the appearances of Snow Miser and Heat Miser are based on the voice actors, which means these are kind of the famous persons, and the only time it's not done by, the narrator.
Yeah, this one doesn't really have a narrator, does it?
It has Mrs. Claus, which acts as
but she's an actual character too, so.
Yeah. And it's Dick Shawn and George S. Irving, who do very, very good in their roles.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't want to bring back the mailman for this one.
Well, they saved him for the Easter Bunnies Coming to Town.
Yeah, they saved him for the Easter Bunny. That's what they did.
There was a sequel to this called The Miser Brothers Christmas. Have you seen any of it?
No.
It's bad. Don't watch it.
I'm sure we will anyways, but okay.
And as well, I brought up the 2006 live-action remake. That is also just bad. It's very bad.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What are your favorite and least favorite songs in this special?
Favorite songs are "It's Gonna Snow Right Here in Dixie," the Heat Miser Snow Miser song combination, and Blue Christmas. Yes. Least favorite song, jeez. Honestly, this one I'm not sure I have a least favorite. Maybe I Believe in Santa Claus.
See, I kind of like that song.
They're actually all kind of good in this one. There's no crappy song in this one.
Yeah, I feel like they finally understood how to use their musical numbers in this one.
They didn't waste any of their numbers on some pointless crap that meant nothing and was just there.
I mean, there's I Could Be Santa Claus, which is the only one. I think that's actually my least favorite one.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll put that in there. That's the least favorite. That's the least good song then. I Could Be Santa Claus.
I Believe in Santa Claus or Blue Christmas are my two favorites in this one.
Okay. It's Gonna Snow Right Here in Dixie, though. Come on.
I love that one, sincerely. And the Miser Brothers, yeah, but...
The Miser Brothers is, iconic. I don't think it's a great song, but it's kind of fun. It's fun.
That's fair. Bree, why don't you hit the Bree Views button, because it's time for us to compare our opinions to those over at Letterboxd.com. It's Bree Views. Let's go. What we got? Who's winning? Are we tied?
I think you're tied. Andrew might be winning. And
way to keep count, Bree.
Sorry. I was going to count at the end, it's a little surprise for all of us.
Alrighty.
I think Jess is going first this round.
No, he went first last round.
Okay.
No. Are you sure? Okay, whatever.
I don't remember. Okay. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
Bree, you decide. You're the one who's been hosting.
All right, Jess is losing, so we'll let him go first.
Okay.
Bruh, they dead ass called Snow Miser fruity in this.
That sounds like a 5 to me.
That's a 5-star.
Hey!
All right. Andrew, how do these elves go to Southtown, USA, but all the kids have Brooklyn accents?
You know, that's a really good question, and I think
It's South Bronx!
I think there's not a good answer. I'm gonna say 1 star for this.
That's a 5-star.
Oh God.
Jess, girl boss MILF, Mother Nature, and her 2 gay sons, Snow and Here Miser.
What?
Honestly, that just describes this podcast. I think it's a 5.
That's a 5.
She is a MILF, though. Like, next to
True.
Jessica, I'm gonna have to rank them Rankin Bass MILFs. Or the rank.
Mrs. Claus is not a MILF. There's no kids.
Oh, you're right. I mean, she's kind of like surrogate mother to the children of the world.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up. You're so full of shit.
All right. Andrew, are you ready?
Yeah.
Santa works 1 day a year and he wants to call in sick.
Oh man, 5 stars.
That's a 1-star.
Oh my God.
All right, Jess, this one says, I don't recommend this movie.
Oof. I think it's a 5 stars.
That's a 5-star. Andrew?
Yep.
Box art giving me let's do coke in the bathroom vibes. And then it's an emoji of Santa Claus and a snowflake.
5.
That's a 5-star.
Hey!
And Jess, here's the last one. Siri, play I'm Mr. Snow Miser / I'm Mr. Heat Miser.
That sounds like a 5.
That's a 1.
Fuck you.
I'm
All
Mr.
right.
Heat Miser.
Are we tied now?
All right, let me count real quick.
I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. Christmas.
I'm Mr. 101.
I can't remember the words for the snow one.
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. Snow. I'm Mr. Icicle. I'm Mr. 10 Below.
It's 7, Jess, 6, Andrew.
Fuck you, asshole!
Wait, it's not even over yet. You don't get to brag.
I don't. It's not even going to be over until next week, sadly.
We'll keep
Okay.
count. next
Let's
week.
move on to our next special, and that is our first direct sequel, and that is Frosty's Winter Wonderland. Cue the music, Bree.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland.
Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is the new bird. He sings a love song as we go along,
Walking in a winter wonderland.
Good Lord, this fucking shit.
He is. This premiered December 2nd, 1976. And the plot is about Frosty is kind of lonely, so the kids think of making him a wife, Crystal. But will Jack Frost let them be happy? Guess we'll have to find out.
The answer is yes. What the fuck? Like, Jack Frost just comes out of fucking nowhere. Like, who is this guy? Where does this guy come from? What the fuck? He's just chilling. Pun
First
intended.
of a couple appearances of Jack Frost in the Rankin Bass cinematic universe.
But like, all of this so that he can get a wife and they make the snow parson. This is terrible, and I don't like it.
Really, you didn't like this one?
Why is Frosty a Christian? He's a living snowman.
He defies God's image.
He literally does. He's brought to life with witchcraft. Like, you don't get to be a Christian, Frosty.
Well, do you remember what brought Karen to life? She touched the Boble.
Yeah. I'm not a fan
find
of this one that much, really. I don't like it that much.
I kind of like it. I like the 2D animation. Like, I think they really upped their game here.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
Okay, I find it very creepy that this is basically a Frankenstein movie. Like, it's literally the sequel to Frankenstein where he builds himself a wife.
I was thinking of that as well. Like, it's Bride of Frankenstein. Like, that's right. Except for everyone is on board and supportive instead of the opposite.
Imagine if all your child friends helped you build your own sex doll.
Yeah, and that whole aspect of it is so weird. Like, oh, you'll build my wife to my exact specifications. It's like, okay, bud, you're not a fucking weird creep.
I want the big bazongas. The tushy go out to there.
Totally fucked up. I'm not a fan.
And why does Jack Frost not want them to be together? Why does Jack Frost want to fuck everything up so hard?
I love the one thing I like here is in the Frosty the Snowman movies, the villains just want to kill Frosty.
Yeah.
Just outright, they want to kill Frosty.
They would rather have the magical hat than have him be alive.
Yes. So that's interesting, you know. I guess it's a exploration of the value of non-human life. Like, should we value snowmen life if they're brought to life by a magic hat? Or should we value the magic of the hat more than the life created by it?
That's a good question. And also, it brings up a question when we get the parson and he refuses to marry these two because he doesn't think it feels right within his Christian. He won't make them their wedding cake. He doesn't view them as human. So it's like technically and the kids all agree too. They're not like, wait, what the fuck? You're not gonna marry like they're right there. Like, come on. But like, no, they agree that in order for him to actually get married, he has to get snow married. He can't get real married. Yeah,
like,
he can only get gay married, not real married.
It's like, see, they just don't value Frosty as a human in the way that they would value other humans.
But it does bring up the question of the original song Winter Wonderland. I'm very confused by that song. Why would they build a snowman and pretend that he's Parson Brown? And he'll ask you if you're married. He'll say no, man, but you can do the job when you're in town. Just as a song, what the fuck are those lyrics?
It's supposed to be cute. It's like, oh, we went and we built and we're pretending to get married with the snowman.
Yeah, he comes to life and he's like, oh,
he doesn't actually come to life in the coming to life part is imaginary, Jess.
Are you sure? It feels pretty real because
Jess, it's because you're looking at it in the context of Frosty's Winter Wonderland, which is a bad context to look at the song through.
So, actual fun fact, and then you might think this is either a cute or a very pandering and stupid story. When my grandmother on my mother's side was still alive, she heard that song and she thought the next lyrics, because right after that, we'll say, no, man, but you can do the job when you're in town. The next lyrics are, later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire. She was convinced that the lyrics were, we'll expire as we dream by the fire because the snowman is melting by the fire. And I just am like, oh, it's an old living snowman that decides I'm going to go inside and melts to death by the fire, expires by the fire.
All right. Well, I think I've gotten my thoughts out. By the way, snow people rights are universal human rights.
But do they have a soul? Can you point to the soul on a snowman, Andrew?
Yes, it's in the hat, Jess. It's in the hat.
The soul is stored in the snowballs.
Wait, and also they don't need the hat anymore, like because now they're brought to life by eating a light bulb or something. I don't remember what they do.
No, they put the touch of the Bible.
Is that really? That's what that is?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. That's horrible. What the fuck?
They had to introduce Christ into this to make sure the Christians are all okay with hunky dory Frosty.
All right. Honestly, I'm convinced, and here's my theory. The more biblical stuff is in a Rankin Bass special, the worse it becomes. Which is why Little Drummer Boy is bottom tier
I do kind of respect how secular that they've kept their Christmas specials, as weird as that is to say.
Except for Little Drummer Boy and Frosty's Winter Wonderland, which are both not good.
This doesn't have anything to do with anything, but Tim Allen... While we're talking about this, the Santa Clauses is airing on Disney Plus.
Yes.
And Tim Allen's like, I really want to deconstruct the Santa Claus mythos and bring Christ back into the Santa Claus mythos too, because we all know what we're really here for, and that's Christ. So we're really going to talk about like that being part of why Santa is Santa.
Tim Allen,
You do know where he lives.
Tim Allen, everyone is here for Santa Claus, okay? No one is here for Christ. Okay, no one is watching your Santa Claus show because they want to see Jesus.
I am very curious as to how he's going to bring the fucking baby Jesus into the Santa Claus. Oh, there's a clause. The original Santa Claus was Jesus, and that's what happened after the crucifixion. He had to steal someone's coat and deliver toys for a couple of years.
The Tim Allen character wants to convert to Islam, and he starts losing his Santa powers. And they reveal like the weird head elf is like, actually you have to believe in Jesus Christ and accept him in your heart, or else you're not allowed to be Santa.
I won't do that. Oh.
Well, can we get to the wild facts about fucking Frosty's Winter Wonderland?
Yes. Wild facts, sure. Aside from Frosty himself, the only other returning character from Frosty the Snowman is the traffic cop. That is a wild
For some reason, he comes back. All he does is the same gag they did in the first one, and I guess it's just to set up that happened. I guess.
Frosty says "A-cab."
Yeah, he has killed that police officer twice now.
Frosty says "A-cab."
You can't breathe if you have a whistle in your windpipe. I'm sorry.
Oh God! How long before we get the horror version of Frosty that murders? Well, we have Jack Frost, so I guess we.
Yeah, we have Jack Frost. We have Jack Frost and Jack Frost 2.
And we have Jack Frost and Michael Keaton.
I'm looking forward to the Grinch. That looks like a piece of shit.
Hold on. It's called The Mean One for legal reasons.
Oh, sorry, the Mean One. I'm looking forward to the Mean One. That looks like a piece of shit.
It does. Well, even I can say that the filmmaking is subpar.
It looks on the level of like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So
when Tromeo and Juliet looks like a cinematic masterpiece next to your film, you're doing something wrong.
You're a mean one. All right.
The next wild fact: the special first aired on CBS in 1976, but the rights are owned by Warner Brothers. And in 2010, Warner Brothers had full rights to the special, which is why you don't see the first two Frosty specials on the same network in America anymore.
That's good.
There was another
Warner
wild
Brothers.
fact. Oh, what was that?
Warner Brothers just likes owning the worst properties, huh?
They do. There's another wild fact that I didn't write down, but I think is important to note. This is not the only Frosty sequel, but it is the only one in the Rankin Bass cinematic universe. Later, Lorne Michaels in the 90s would commission a Frosty sequel where John Goodman played Frosty called Frosty Returns. And it was
What is
done
it with John Goodman?
I know. It was done by the people that did Rugrats and the current Peanuts specials, and so it has a very Rugratsy sound, and Mark Millerspaw, who also did the Rugrats soundtrack, did the music to that. So it feels just like a Rugrats episode that has Frosty in it. And then in 2009, I believe, they made The Legend of Frosty the Snowman, where they brought Patrick Starr in to voice Frosty the Snowman, and it's boring and kind of lame.
Not unexpected for a Frosty special.
They tried to put a plot to it where Frosty shows up and fixes their parents' divorce or some shit. It's not good.
Yeah.
Previews?
Let's previews it!
All right. Okay. Andrew, you're first. Somehow, Frosty building his wife to specifications is even creepier than those lifelike sex robots they're making these days.
All right, that sounds like something I would say, so one star.
That is a 5-star.
Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Okay. Jess, there is implied snow person sex in this film.
Ooh, that could be a 1-star or a 5-star. Both sound hot, so I'm gonna go 1-star.
That was a 1-star.
Hey!
Andrew, why is no one mentioning how Frosty likes his women thick? All right, Frosty. I'm not going to explain my thoughts on this movie further.
I mean, he likes five stars for the thick.
That's a 5-star.
Okay.
I will say Crystal's kind of cute. I like her. She has the same energy as Frosty. I like her.
My favorite part is when they ice skate.
He does a figure 9 instead of a figure 8. He fucks it up.
Yeah, he can't count.
That's okay. All right, who's next?
I am.
Okay, Jess. I didn't expect Andy Griffith to be in this.
He looks horrifying. I feel like we didn't underline how terrifying he looks in this. But that sounds like a 1 to me.
That is a 1. And Andrew. Most based movie of all time. A snowman comes to life because he holds the Bible.
God damn it. Is it ironic or is it serious? I don't like it. 1 star. I don't like that.
That's a 1 star. Okay. Last one for this episode, guys.
I know we got one more thing. Bree's face.
Did it freeze? Everyone's very still.
Bree,
we're done.
No,
we're not done
with that round.
We got one more special after this.
Yeah, last one. We're moving on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
All right, let's get through this. This one's a doozy.
Rudolph's Shiny New Year.
Have a happy New Year.
As the bells ring out, everyone will shout,
Happy New Year.
have a happy,
May each day be filled with good cheer.
and with nothing less than much happiness all through the year.
It released a whole 8 days after Frosty's Winter Wonderland on December 10th in 1976. And the plot is Rudolph must find Happy, the baby New Year, before midnight on New Year's Eve. That doesn't set up the stakes, which means if he doesn't, we'll be stuck in that year forever.
I don't remember this one at all.
Yeah, probably a reason for that. This one is surreal as fuck.
This is the most fucking crazy ass one.
I think this is the perfect one to end our episode, our part 1 on, sincerely.
I don't even know where to begin with this. I want to say I don't like it. This one I don't like, but it's still interesting.
Creativity a lot.
It's still interesting to watch because it's like, what the fuck? Where did you come up with this?
Please try to explain the plot to Bree, as best as you can.
Happy the baby New Year has big ears, so everyone laughs at him, which we're supposed to... By the end of it, we're supposed to accept that everyone laughing at him is a good thing, and he should like that everyone laughs at him, which just doesn't... Again, another Rudolph special where I just don't think the message is very good, but whatever. So Rudolph, because it's stormy out, only Rudolph could make it over to the... place where time is kept, I guess, which I don't know how the fuck you fly there, but Rudolph manages to fly there, and he meets with Father Time, who sends him on a journey to find Happy before the new year begins, because without Happy, the new year will never begin.
I want to pause there because he is the second.
This is all coming back to me.
He is the second old man to send Rudolph on a journey. The first one is Santa, who's like, "It's too foggy for me. You go out and figure out what's going on."
Well, Santa sends him on this one too. So Santa sends him to Father Time, and then Father Time sends him on another part. And so then he has to go through. And this is the biggest missed opportunity, I think, in the history of anything. He goes through the islands or the archipelago of what is it, Lost Years or something or Last Years. I think it's Last Years. And he goes, and we only get to see 3. We see
1776,
which is, oh god, the worst one. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with that, but we see 1776. We see 14 something or 12 something.
We get the Great Quarter, past 5, Eon, General Ticker, Humpty Dumpty, and the 3 Bears.
Okay, so this is where I think this is a huge missed opportunity. So they go through all these time, and the best one is 1 million. He goes to 1 million BC or something like that.
Yes, and you get a weird caveman type.
You get a caveman type, and there's dinosaurs, and it's oh yeah, we saw the baby and whatever, and that's the best one. from there it's all downhill. So from there they go to what is it, like 10 some year, they go to some year, and it's like the biggest cop out of all time. They're just like, this is the year when every fairy tale happened.
Yes, I think that's one of the wildest statements, where they're just like summing up like every fairy tale happened here, so we can justify Humpty Dumpty and the Three Bears being here. Fuck you.
And it's the worst. It's the fucking, like, you couldn't pick a fucking interesting year to do. Like, what the fuck? So whatever, they go through a bunch of fairy tales, which, again, not what this is about. It's supposed to be about years that happened, whatever. And then they go to 1776, and what happens in 1776? Literally nothing but the 4th of July. It's the 4th of July every day. Jesus, just fucking shoot me. Like, you couldn't pick a more interesting year to do other than fucking America Day? Where's the rest of the world in the year of 1776? They don't exist? Whatever. Fucking...
And it's Ben Franklin.
American,
1776 looks like Ben Franklin.
Looks like Ben Franklin. Because nothing else happened in 1776 but fucking the 4th of July parade.
That's the most important thing, Andrew.
Fuck this shit. And that's the last year they do. They don't do any years after that. So literally the only one they did where it was like an interesting, like, oh, look it's like a play on some historical year, was fucking 1 million AD. That's the best they got. And then they find Happy. He's being held hostage by some fucking big bird.
Please explain the big bird, because I think that's actually an interesting villain. I mean, the bird, it's called Eon, right?
The bird is called Eon, and I guess it gets to live for an eon, but its eon is about to end. So when the clock strikes or whatever and the next year begins, Eon will die. So Eon is trying to prevent that by preventing the next year from ever starting. In my canon, the bird does die. Eon is dead. But
is this the
they
first
try
Rankin Bass villain to die and not be redeemed? Because most Rankin Bass villains are redeemed.
I think so, but they try to pretend that he's redeemed and won't die, because they're like, oh well, now that you're laughing, you're so warm that you'll never turn to snow, and he's like, oh, I guess you're right, but it's like, no, that's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's such bullshit. He's gonna fucking die, and you know it. Whatever. So they take the baby and they fucking kill Eon by starting the next year. And Santa Claus shows up and does that, even though at the beginning,
Santa Claus.
At the beginning, we were told that Santa Claus couldn't make it because only Rudolph could fly in the storm. But whatever, I guess Santa Claus is here. This is such a fucking mess of ideas and nonsense, and it doesn't work at all. But it's just like, what the fuck did I just watch?
There's enough creativity here that I almost respect it.
Almost. But I don't think I do.
Like,
and this is...
the camel called the Great Quarter Past 5, where he just represents that specific time. That's fascinating.
It's weird. Fucking, the message with the baby is one that particularly feels weird to me. Where
people are gonna laugh at you anyways, you might as well deal with it, you fucking pussy.
No, because it's not even that. It's not like, oh, well, whatever, just deal with people laughing at you. The idea is that actually the people laughing at you are your friends, and, like, they love you because they're laughing at you. Like, that is what they're saying, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, Rudolph laughs at him, and he's like, no, I'm laughing because you make me so happy. And it's like, that's not how that works.
No.
You don't get to tell people that people bullying them are actually their friends. Like, what the
I
fuck?
think that little bear boy was being a piece of shit to that baby.
Yeah, it's not cool. You don't laugh at fucking because your friend has big ears. You're not in that position. What is it like? Rudolph specials just have bad morals like that.
We've got 2 more Rudolph specials in part 2 here, so
we'll see. I didn't even get to go into the first one. The idea of, like, the entire point of your existence should be to find some way to be useful to people above you. Like Rudolph needs to be useful to Santa Claus to be accepted. The dentist guy needs to be useful to the elves somehow to be accepted. The whole thing's fucked. I hate it.
It is weird. Okay, now that you bring them up, why don't they show up in this story? I feel like Yukon Cornelius would have been very useful on this tale. Bring the Bumble with you. Bring the Abominable Snowman with you on this.
I know, they
wild
just
trip.
don't. They're just gone. Like, I don't know. It's a huge missed opportunity with a lot of this. The premise here is fun and could work, but like the stuff they pick to do with it, like you do fairy tales and the 4th of July, that's your idea? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's fair. Let's go into wild facts really quick. Rawr.
Okay.
So Paul Frees provides the voices of Santa Claus, Humpty Dumpty, General Tigger, The Great, Quarter Past Five, Eon, and 1776. While this is in continuity with the other stories, it does not have Mickey Rooney as Santa Claus, nor is it Stan Francis from the original Rudolph film because that was shot in Toronto and this was done in California. So they bring in Paul Frees to do Santa, who did the voice of Santa in Frosty. So it's kind of connected, but not quite enough.
It's canonical with Frosty, but not Rudolph, and also not Santa Claus
But
is
it
coming
is
to town.
canonical with Rudolph because Rudolph is in this special.
Yes, which technically means that now Rudolph and Frosty are canonical together.
Right.
But somehow Rudolph and itself is not canonical.
It's equally confusing. Despite having
There's just more than one Santa Claus. That's really the answer.
Yeah, Tim Allen style.
Yeah.
Despite having a copyright of 1976, the dates and days of the week on the calendar shown during the New Year song is corresponding to the calendar from 1973. Yet the story begins and ends on the islands of 1965, purposefully obscuring the internal chronology. So they're trying to hide what year this might actually take place in.
Don't they mention that they were going to go to the island of 1960 something and they said they didn't because it was too noisy?
Yeah.
Which, okay, that one struck me as like a particularly like, were they trying to say something with that comment?
I don't know. I appreciate the fact that they're trying to keep this year agnostic. You're agnostic in a weird way.
Yeah, yeah.
As well, the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed special aired on CBS. This one aired on NBC.
Songs. This one is one of the ones that I don't think there's like any good songs in.
I kind of like the happy song.
Which one is that?
The one where they're like, Happy, Happy New Year. Oh, what was it? I want to actually be able to sing it right because I liked it. I remember thinking like, oh, I actually kind of don't hate that song.
How come they didn't do Auld Lang Syne? They reference it.
They reference it a lot musically. I think they just kind of like, oh, we know that song.
Yeah, but you're going to just reuse Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer again?
Oh, no, it's have a happy New Year.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about like 2/3 through the story? The narrator is like, what, you haven't heard of me? And he's like, Rudolph is too humble to tell his own story, so the trees said it. And then they just show a 2D animated version of the Rudolph story.
Yeah, that one was it's like they ran out of stuff to do in the special, so they're just like, just do Rudolph again, whatever. They literally just reused the song.
The climax of our story is the entirety of our last story.
It's like fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 or whatever.
What a reference! Who are you, Doug Walker?
Hello! He's never talked about that movie.
He talked about Silent Night, Deadly Night, and they make a joke about the entire time about how Doug thought it was Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, and how the original film was just kind of boring.
The second movie does reuse most of the first movie, so, I mean, on some level, he's sort of right.
I like Have a Happy New Year. Every other song kind of sucks.
Turn Back the Years is like fucking, turn back the fucking, my eyelids down to, I'm sleeping.
Good note, man.
Thank you. I think we're done. I think we're done. I'm done.
And just for context, we will be giving cheese ratings for each and every one of these in the finale, which we will post next week.
Cheese
Some
ratings.
reviews.
We're doing a fucking ranking. I'm ranking this shit.
We're ranking, but you're gonna give a cheese rating for each one while you rank it, just for the people worried. What about the cheese ratings? We'll get there. Calm your fucking
pull
tits.
Up my angry video game nerve. Ranking ass.
What's the previews for this episode, Brie?
Jess, you're up first.
Alrighty, I'm gonna win this shit.
The camel is so two-faced, helping out after he laughed at Baby New Year.
Right?
They're not wrong.
That's every character in the whole special, though.
They treat Baby New Year like shit. Baby New Year might be the most sympathetic Rankin Bass character, sincerely. He just wants to not deal with this shit. That's a 1.
That is a 5.
Fuck!
All right, Andrew. I've hated that fucking bird since 2002.
You're supposed to hate the bird, so 5?
That's a 5-star. Okay, Jess, ready?
Ready.
In my senior year of college, I had a history of animation class, and for our final project, we had to do a presentation on an era of animation. My friend Jason insisted on anime while I was going for Rankin/Bass Prime. We ended up going with anime, and Jason put giant anime titties in our presentation, resulting in a B. I often reminisce on the fact that I never got to spread the word about this abomination to my peers. It haunts me at night, just as Father Time does in this film. I wonder what Jason is doing now. Probably jerking off to anime titties. College seems so long ago. I feel like I've lost my
What
youth
is this
in a flash
review?
of all-encompassing light. Fuck.
You didn't have to write a fucking essay.
That's a 1.
That is a 1-star.
I feel so bad for them because I also feel like college was so fucking long ago. But I'm grateful for my time in college because I got to meet people like Brianna Jones, who I now get to hang out with every other week, and I'm very grateful for that.
Dang, I thought you guys met at work.
All right, Andrew.
Fuck you, Andrew.
Tie it up. Tie it up. I think the 2021 New Year's baby ran away too.
That is not how that works, but okay. 5 stars for referencing the movie in a pop culture way.
That's a 1-star. All right.
Damn.
I'm winning. Fuck you, Andrew.
So right now, Andrew, you have 9 points, and Jess, you have 10.
Oh, damn, it's close.
It's close.
It is close. I was doing pretty shitty at the beginning, though.
You were.
But what will happen next? Who will win previews? What's gonna happen with Rudolph and Frosty? Will there be some wacky new things coming above? You're gonna have to see next week. Same podcast time, same podcast channel.
God, you thought we were negative in this episode? Oh, you haven't seen anything.
Yeah, we
You ready for Rankin Bass Part 2?
Yeah, are you excited for us to talk about the likes of the Pinocchio's Christmas and Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July and Nestor the long-eared Christmas donkey?
Oh God, it's gonna be bad.
It's not gonna be good. On that note, I would like to thank all of you for listening. Please follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher at Musicals with Cheese. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals, Patreon at Musicals with Cheese, Instagram Musicals with Cheese. We're on the YouTube page Musicals with Cheese. Follow us on everything at Musicals with Cheese. Follow our Patreon-only podcast, Patreon with Cheese. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com to tell us how wrong we are about everything we've talked about. Tell us about how, we don't understand the intricacies of Rudolph's shiny new year. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonia. We fucking love you, Juliet. Everyone whisper right now, just for Juliet. Come on, join in. Oh, we're gonna whisper. We're gonna whisper a little.
Thanks, Juliet.
We're gonna whisper. Thank you, Juliet. This show is produced by the incredible, the wonderful, one of my good best friends in the entire world, and she's looking great and clear skinned tonight, Brianna Jones. Our theme songs were created by Robin Nashvayu Music UK. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform and for not kicking us off for, talking shit about Baby New Year. We know that that's something you're very sensitive about. All right, guys. Anything else we have left to say before we wrap this up?
No, I think we've covered it all.
Well, we haven't because we got a part 2 to this episode. This is the first Musicals with Cheese 2-parter. Fun fact.
I wish we covered it all.
We'll talk about it next week. Happy holidays, folks. And you know what? Have sex with your partner tonight. They deserve it. We'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese. Put one foot in front of the other. And soon you'll be walking across the floor.
Put one foot in front of the other.
And soon you'll be walking out the door.